Quiet.
Good evening. Could I have a motion to reconvene?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to docketed item number 3. It's the acknowledgement of the Teacher of the Year awards per school, as well as the overall Teacher of the Year. I would like to thank all the winners in the individual school. It's a tough task, obviously, because every teacher in the city does an outstanding job, and to be chosen as the number one in your school is quite an accomplishment. And the teamwork and camaraderie that I see in the 2 schools in my ward is outstanding. And I would just like to thank you people as winners, as well as every teacher in this city is a winner. Thank you. At this time, we will recognize the winners as well as the Teacher of the Year. When your name is called up, you can come up to the podium and receive your city proclamation. Is there any other, anybody else would like to comment on it before we go?
I believe I spent a decade of my life in classrooms, and the most sacred bond is between a teacher and a child. And we have amazing teachers. And us 5 up here, I'm chewing, sorry. We're fully committed to make sure you guys have the resources you need to succeed. We know school funding it's crazy, and they're getting ready to go do the budget season, but I appreciate it. We got your back, and we thank you for all you do. Everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Frank, who's calling the names?
I'm just going to say the same thing. Besides, I thank you for your extra time, for your extra money, for your workmanship with the kids. They all appreciate it, I'm sure. And, us up here, we do extremely. Thank you.
So I just wanted to add, being in this position, but I just wanted to say, because this was on the docket a couple of meetings ago, ahead of the school committee, and rightfully so, the school committee and the school department should recognize their amazing staff. So I thank them for going above and beyond for faculty and staff at the schools throughout our district, and the council also thinks it's really important to extend those congratulations, because we know how hard our faculty and staff work in the school districts, and the challenges not only in staffing, but what comes with the children in each of our schools, and the challenges and the resources that we need to make them successful day in and day out. And their job, we know, doesn't just stop at 3 o'clock. It continues on when you go home and on weekends and on holidays. And it's a real selfless job. And I definitely appreciate everything that you guys do above and beyond your, 8-hour day. You're in the buildings. And I just want to send my heart welcome and thank you for everything. So with that, we'll congratulate those who have made impact schools, along with who provides the best education with the best educators, and that's why we continue to have national and local and state awards.
Tracy Andrews, Lauren Keandra from Silver Spring, Kylie Osterhout from Waddington, Paula Saracen from White Neck, Jill Ackerman, Caitlin Barron Shashchuk, Megan Black, Crystal White from Riverside. Courtney Braga from East Providence High School. Kelly Groff. And the East Providence Teacher of the Year and the Orlo Teacher of the Year, Kathy Reitheimer.
Councilman Rigo, can we also point out Principal Black from the high school is with us in attendance tonight? And although you're not a teacher of the year, we appreciate you too, my friend. We will be expecting a one-page report on this ceremony. Was it?
Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Next item on the docket this evening is the consent calendar for discussion and possible vote. Madam Clerk, please read the items.
So we have council meeting minutes for April 2nd, 2024, regular meeting minutes, April 16th, 2024, regular meeting minutes, April 16th, 2024, executive meeting minutes, April 26th, 2024, regular meeting minutes. We were read-in for a special event, one-day license. They applied on the last docket for their one-day entertainment, but not for their special event license. And then you have 4 notices of new property numbers.
I'll make a motion to accept, and for people wondering about the property numbers, that's the former plat orders, buildings that came down and were sold as house lots. That's what all those new numbers are. I'll make a motion to accept.
There's a motion by Councilman Lawson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, could a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Fogarty?
Aye.
Councilman Lawson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Sousa? Council Vice President Rigo?
Aye. Let the record show that the motion passed 4-0. Next docketed item, Madam Clerk.
You have the option to bundle the licenses. You have, excuse me, 13 licenses this evening. How would you like to proceed?
I just got one quick. The positive atmosphere. It's a food truck. He's not here tonight, is he? Oh, is it just a food truck? Okay. I'll make a motion to bundle.
Motion by Councilman Lawson, seconded by Councilwoman Souza to bundle all licenses. Roll call vote, please. Well, first the motion to bundle, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Fogarty,
Aye.
Councilman Lawson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Sousa.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rigo.
Aye. Let the record show that the motion passed 4-0. At this time, do I have a motion to approve the licenses?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lawson, seconded by Councilman Fogarty. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Fogarty,
Aye.
Councilman Lawson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Sousa,
Aye.
Council Vice President Rigo.
Aye. Let the record show motion passed 4-0. Okay. Moving on to public hearing. Is there any, moving on to public hearing, is there any communications, or we'll wait for the clerk to,
None. It's on.
okay.
And there's no communications either.
The clerk has notified me that there is no public comment at this time, so we will proceed to item 11 on the docket, appointments.
Make to approve Joseph Maderas to the Recreation Board.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Lawson, seconded by Councilman Fogarty. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Fogarty,
Aye.
Councilman Lawson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Sousa,
Aye.
Council Vice President Rigo.
Aye. Madam Clerk, next item.
Michael Viera, appointment to Recreation Board, sponsor Council President Roberts.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lawson, seconded by Councilman Fogarty. All those in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
All those in the opposition. Let the record show motion passes 4-0. Next docket item, please, Madam Clerk.
Review, discussion, and potential vote for ratification of a new United Steelworkers Local 15509 collective bargaining agreement with an effective date 11/1/23 to 10/31/26.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fogarty, seconded by Councilman Lawson. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Fogarty,
Aye.
Councilman Lawson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Sousa,
Aye.
Council Vice President Rigo.
Aye, let the record show motion passes 4-0. Next docketed item, please.
Discussion and possible vote in allocating unspent ARPA funding towards the former Oldham School. Discuss and vote. Councilman Lawson.
Councilman Lawson, the floor is yours.
So I put this on the docket. As we're moving along, some of these opera projects are going to have some extra funding left over. Police station, splash pad, stuff like that. So I wanted to put on the table, where do we feel best to put that money? I'm going to advocate the former Oldham, but if there's other things that you guys think of, I know we talked about like the rubber mulch under playground equipment, stuff like that. So I just wanted to get this conversation started of the unspent opera funding, of where we think we don't. I put it on a vote tonight in case nobody else had anything, but we do know that we have a certain timeline, and we do have some projects already in the works. And does it make sense to move it towards one of these others? And if so, which ones? And so that was basically it. The reason I put the Oldham School building is it's going to need, roof, doors, windows. The interior we walked through the other day, there is work that needs to be done. I will never say it doesn't need to be done. I do think it's worth the investment. And I think with this opera funding, we would get more bangs for the bucks putting it into that building where there's so much more usage. And again, if there's other projects that you guys feel, I want to just have the discussion now, so that way we can start moving forward. And if we want to combine this with my other one about the rec center, new construction, when we went in this building the other day, it dawned on me that is the perfect building for a recreation center. There's already a gym. It's a ton of room. There's so much we could do. We could put the rec department in there. You got the grounds. There's a playground there. There's ball fields there. It's on a bus line. And I just can't see why we're building this new building. I was all in for a rec center, and I still am. But I just think that Oldham building makes more sense for a recreation center to become the rec department's home. There's just so much we can do out of that building. And that building, if people know, it's like the Wolf School up in Rumford. Those things are built to last. It's been empty for 11, 12 years now. There's been no upkeep, rightfully so, when, we weren't using it. So I just want to have this discussion of the best path forward, because we're talking a lot of money. The new construction is 10.5, and from that we get 4 rooms and a gym. The Oldham building, can you put me up? Okay. I'm going to put up the drawings of the property so you guys in the public can get a better idea of what the property looks like. So she's going to put it up in a second. I just want to give people here and at home an idea of what the interior looks like, what the design of the property, drawings of what could go on there and stuff. Yeah, so as you can see, looking at this, you got like 8 classrooms up front. You got the gymnasium. The cafe part in the middle, if you look on the left, that's a stage. And then all this back area is where it was envisioned to put the business incubator. Up front, you got adult education, art studios, reading rooms, co-working. Everything we're talking about building a new building for, the workforce development, the community health stuff. This building's here, and yes, it needs work. It does need investment. It's sat empty for over a decade. I just think if we're looking at the more bang for the buck, that this is worth a discussion before we start breaking ground on a new construction. Can you show the second one? Yeah. And then this next one is a picture, and I got this from the administration. This wasn't me that drew these. When the first plan came that we were going to do this, these were the drawings I was given. So as you can see, look at all this property. You got room for a community garden, plenty of parking off street, city park right there, ball fields right there. I just think this makes way too much sense to invest in as our recreation center and community use, workforce development, everything. You're talking about classroom space for after school learning. This was a school. What better building to do after school learning than in a school? So that's my pitch. And I just wanted, again, to have these conversations and the best path moving forward. Does it make sense with all the financial things going on? We know we're getting a tax increase this year. We borrowed $300 million to build a new school, rehab Martin and Waddington. We knew that. I just think we have to be fiscally responsible and have the dough. I know there was a lot of pushback from us, the community, about the location of the new building. And I just think it's worth a conversation right now. And that's why I'm bringing it up. And I'd love to hear from my fellow council members.
Thank you, Councilman Lawson. Madam Clerk, for the record, could you read in, since Councilman Lawson integrated 2 and 3, could you read number 3 in for the record, please?
Discussion on best path forward for a new recreation center, new construction versus rehabbing former Oldham. Discuss, Councilman Lawson.
Hey, thank you very much, fellow council members. Any discussion on this issue?
Yep, so through the chair. So one of the questions that I would have is, I know there was a feasibility study that was being done. Has that taken place? Oh, okay. So the timeline for that is mute.
Excuse me. What's the issue? Why isn't the podium working tonight? Okay, so no. On behalf of the city council, you're welcome to the
I get no
podium, to the dais. You can sit there too.
So to answer your question, Anna, feasibility, they said it's not coming back for a year. And if we wait for the feasibility, which we know is going to say it's going to need roof, door, window, HV, we're going to lose the opera funding for it. And then we got to start going out and hope we get grant money because we don't have capital money for it. So that's kind of my pitch as well.
So I guess another follow-up would be, what do we anticipate the cost being to rehab this? So, and I'm all for it. So I just want to put that out there. I think, and I've said this multiple times, infrastructure should be the number one thing that we're focused on in this city, and improving that infrastructure. And I think, and I know that the opera funds were a great way to start doing that, or to get to some of those things. So, you know, though I voted in the affirmative for a rec center, it was for a rec center. Never really loved the buy-in for the new, when we have other infrastructures that we could potentially use, upgrade, reconstruct, repair, especially the OHAM, which we've had numerous, I mean, probably almost a year and a half, 18-month conversation on. So I think it makes all the sense now, from what I remember in previous conversations, that the monies that the governor was allocating was site specific. So there may be an option where, a possibility where we may not be able to get that, whatever 4.5 million, not sure. I think that there's probably workaround or wiggle room with that if we're still meeting the rest of the objectives that were laid out in that that grant proposal, which I believe our intentions would be to do that. And I think we could still facilitate that. So I think one little caveat of not having it at the exact location that was placed there is a workaround that could be done. So potentially we would have that full amount. I think the location is great. The original rec center for the city was in Riverside anyway, not to give it additional kudos for it going back there, but it has the open space, it has the park. If we're talking about summer programs, we know that they go to Pierce Field and do stuff there, but you can still bus or shuttle kids back and forth, and then they have a playground there too. So you're utilizing that space, and I think it'll enhance that neighborhood with additional upgrades. I'm a component of that. So that's my opinion, for what it's worth, on that topic.
And just if I could add, sorry for interrupting, I'm not even talking about the grant money. I'm talking about the
Just the
opera
10
fund.
that we-
Because the opera, and we got 1 million towards Oldham, 3.5 towards new construction. Police station, it sounds like we're going to be under, and like $1 million of opera will free up from there. So there's an opportunity on top of the $1 million already allocated to add like another 4, maybe 5 million to bring it up to about 6 million to rehab this building.
Right.
And I'm talking roof, doors, windows, HVAC, clean up inside. It needs work. I'm not going to deny that, but I just believe it's worth it. If the grant money can follow, that's then we could talk about a pool.
Right. And I think, and I have total confidence and faith that our planning and administration, they've been doing phenomenal jobs with finding grants, writing grants, and looking for grants, that there's probably additional funds that could be found or looked into to try to assist with additional work in that. So piggybacking back to number 2, my question would be for Malcolm, and hopefully he has some of these answers, would be, what of the projects that have spent opera money, do we have a running total of what has not been allocated or has been sent back or not fully spent? And maybe Patricia, you have that number too.
Good evening, Councilwoman and members of the council. So I do have some of that information, but I will let Malcolm speak on the unallocated amounts. I just wanted to clarify, just because you had asked, Councilwoman, for the record. So we did have the $200,000 grant for the feasibility study. Just to clarify, it can take up to a year. It can easily come back. They've already started. So it has already started. Someone's been hired and it's in process. So it can be 6 months. It can be 3 months. Can it take up to a year? Yes. As the project manager came here before the council and clarified, it can take up to a year. What she also said that day is, when you get this grant funding, it's not done easily, right? So the EDA comes. When this happens, it's with the intent that millions of dollars will follow. And that's our intent. In terms of, there's two pieces to it, right? So there's the ARPA portion, and then Malcolm can speak to that. And then there's the new construction version. So in the councilman and I, we did that tour together. So in addition, again, just to clarify for facts, so $3 million in the congressional directed spending is on this project. An additional $4 million for the state community center grant funding. There is information that's come to us that there are other communities that will not be utilizing their community center money. So that opens up our opportunity for perhaps an additional $7 million into this project. We have, through this body and through your approval, you have hired an architect on this project. You have approved in just the last council meeting a construction manager at risk for this project. I do sit on these meetings weekly with all involved. There has been years of planning and involvement and grant writing, as you said, and commended the planning department for writing these grants that has gone into this project. As far as Oldham, we only took control over it about a year ago and during the previous council. So the mayor is absolutely, and our administration is absolutely committed to Oldham. We talked about the RFP, that's in process. The idea is that the feasibility study will decide whether or not it can be an incubator space. But to answer your question, Councilwoman, it needs millions of dollars of work. And through this feasibility study, that could potentially open that opportunity for the city to have millions of dollars that aren't going to come on the backs of the taxpayers, right? So we would be throwing away, $3 million in congressional spending, $4 million from the state community center grant fund, and additional funds that are coming our way, hopefully. And I know that the project manager on the community center project, Dominic, has come before this body. You had asked that question previously. Are we held to this through this grant? And his answer was yes. So we, at this point, with all the grant funding that went into this project, that location is set. So, and this was through this body. So I just wanted to clarify all that. I'm happy to bring Malcolm.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate. I'm saying I'm not voting to move forward on the new construction. I just don't see it financially viable when we got this Oldham building that, yes, it's going to cost millions, but we just talked about opera funding that possibly could get up to 5 million.
So you're willing to give back, and I'm asking.
I am willing.
Respect for you willing to give back
if
maybe $14 million.
Yes.
And do away with the money we pay the architect.
Because nobody was championing for that site, for that rec center, other than the administration saying, nope, sorry, we already did the grant. We can't move it.
I would be remiss, Councilman, with all due respect, if I didn't state that not once, but twice, this community has voted for a recreation center.
And I will share all the feedback I've been getting from people saying no. So that's where I stand. I understand there was a lot of work, but I just don't understand.
Money, lots of money, years of work and lots of grant money that we'll give back.
If it means
to the tune of more than $8 million.
Right, but we'll get more bang for the buck putting this opera funding into the Oldham building. That's my view.
I respectfully disagree, but respectfully.
Thank you.
Councilwoman, did you want Malcolm to answer some? Please. Yes, thank you.
And I think just to clarify, at least from my perspective, the intent would be to still have a rec center. It just would not be a new construction rec center. It would be a rehabbed rec center at a pre-existing city-owned building and property. Hi, Malcolm. Thank you for being here tonight. As you round out your retirement here with us. So just to see where we are with first unallocated opera funds, and then any surplus in any of the projects that have been completed or are near completion and may have some surplus in that account.
Right now, I believe they've all been up to the 8 million.
Okay.
However, again, I don't have any hard numbers. I've been told. I'll tell you what I was told is that we've got approximately $996,000 for the police department. However, I have not seen what that project is. So again, there may be a surplus, there probably will, but how much, I don't know. And then the other one was, I believe we got last had $200,000. And we got a grant for that. So that 200 may go away, but I believe the city's portion is now 50,000. So I don't know if the 50 was going to come out of the ARPA or out of capital. So you could have 150 or 200. So you could have $1 million, $1.3 million, but again, until we see, you've got these projects out there. As far as I know, this is what that. We've got some tenant numbers or communities. We've got imminent. I could try to get more numbers from the
No, we don't know the numbers of the clam shack. We don't know numbers of the police station yet. So it's hard to say what the surplus would be till we get those.
I always err on the side of caution.
Right.
I don't want to say $1 million because we don't.
Right.
So I know I'm going to guess considerably.
Director Moore, question, please. It was just raised that this community voted twice for a recreation center, and I would presume everybody here who was living in the city at the time voted for it. It was overwhelming, and it, for whatever reasons, between the recreation director and we're not going to rehash there, it didn't get built. But my question to you, sir, is the last time it was passed that the city would spend I think it was $3 million. I could be wrong, but to go out spend $3 million on a bond. I am under the impression, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the city did go out and had it on its record that there was $3 million worth of bond money that was still in play that could have been used, but that it was that bond was retired. Is that correct?
And it was 3 or 5 million.
Yeah. Correct.
When we looked into it, at the time, sites. So they were, when that bond went out, they were talking about closing the market. And this would be built on the Martin land. So everybody kept saying we keep that there. We're like, we're never going to build it on Martin, so it just confuses the issue. So when we looked at it, like we're redoing Martin now, so there's no way we're going to put it. So then we had an ordinance to kind of send it down. But that was the reason why.
Okay. There are questions on this matter?
No, and again, this was just a discussion of moving forward. I can't support a new construction when we got so much that this building can offer, so much more than a new construction. Again, I'm one of 5. I'm not speaking for anybody but myself, but I am speaking on behalf of the residents down in Riverside. And what I'm hearing from them is they prefer to see the Old Ham renovated into a beautiful recreation center.
One issue that keeps on popping up in my ward in regards to this, and it comes from people in the contracting business, is that since we've been in place since January of 2023, and we've had numerous discussions on this potential building, that we do not have a maintenance plan. And these come from very astute contractors, property managers, and we don't have that in play. We can build a building, as we all know, you can build a house, etc. But after you build it, you have to maintain it. And we have yet to see a maintenance plan. I am not comfortable until I see a 10, 15-year maintenance plan on that, because for future generations, future councils, even a future mayor has to deal with this issue. So I would appreciate that, where we can't be short-sighted and just build something and not expect it to be that way. perfect example is other buildings being built around the state and maintained both in the private sector and the public sector. And the plans that don't have a plan, I don't have to go more than a half a mile down the road here. There was no maintenance plan on that on that bridge, and look at what happens. Things fall apart. So I would like to see a maintenance plan. I'd like to see a 10-year plan, a 15-year plan, and I'm not even going to push 20. But these are the type of things. It's a nice shiny new object for a while, but guess what? That shiny new object needs to work. Thank you. That's all I have to say on this matter. Anybody else on the council? Thank you, Malcolm. Madam Clerk, please read the next docketed item.
Request for update on Sabin Point Kayak Launch Project. Discuss, Councilman Lawson.
Councilman Lawson.
So these projects I put on here is what I've been getting tons of inquiries about, these various projects going on. So I figured it just makes more sense to get it up here on video so the residents can hear the updates of the various things down in Ward 4. So we got the kayak launch, the field behind the middle school, the clam shack, beach rake in Willett Pond. I don't know whatever order you guys want to put in.
Whatever way you want to do it, but for the record, please, Madam Clerk, could you please, if you're comfortable, Councilman Lawson, since these are your items, would you like the clerk to read up to number 8? If you could read them into the record, I would appreciate it.
Request for update on lights for Riverside Middle School Recreation Field Project. Discuss, Councilman Lawson. Request for latest update from architect on Clam Shack project at Crescent Park. Councilman Lawson. Request for update on beach raking project at Crescent Park. Councilman Lawson. Request for update on Willett Pond upgrade project. Discuss, Councilman Lawson.
Councilman Lawson, the floor is yours again. For another record, if you can stay in the order, I think it would be appropriate.
Sabin Point Kayak Launch.
So, Councilman and members of the council, so I do have with me Eric Skadberg, our engineer, who will be able to offer some additional information here and available. In terms of the kayak, the materials were finalized this week. The PO is in process of being approved, and once approved, it'll take a week to fabricate.
Eric, is it like the floating dock? You just pick it up, put it in?
Not quite that easy. It does come in different sections.
Gotcha.
Basically, the middle of the dock has like water,
Yeah.
so it's not as easy as the one without water.
Okay.
Another thing we're talking to the dock manufacturer about is how easy is it to remove it?
Oh, so it will get removed in the winter?
Have to get-
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
Okay.
You want it to last.
Gotcha. And the one there now, that's going away?
That's correct. There is some talk. We haven't gotten dimensions. We might be able to float it up at Bull Point Park.
That's awesome. That'd be awesome. Cool.
Would you like me to proceed?
So a couple weeks, then you'll start fabricating, and then, a couple months, more or less.
So once approved, it'll take several weeks.
Okay.
Pending any issues with.
Right. So if I say 3 months, is that okay? If residents ask that? Or is that?
Timestamp just because. Is it being
Okay.
fabricated in state, out of state? Out of state, and they're the ones that will be installing it.
We have 3 different contractors.
Okay.
installed. Local contractors
And it's been awarded or will be.
at the dock. Yeah.
And we awarded that contract. We haven't
No,
awarded
I
it.
think we'll probably be
Seeing it soon. Okay. And then just one more follow up on this. So your recommendation was to remove it to preserve, obviously, its life. Would it be housed on site, or would it be removed and brought to the city yard?
That I'm not sure, Councilwoman.
The current one's on site, Anna. It's in the corner of the parking lot.
I mean, we're looking to restripe
Mhm.
the parking lot also to make it more usable, more friendly. So we do remove the gangway now and bring it up to Commercial Way. It's potential that we could bring sections of the dock up to Commercial Way also.
I'm just thinking to avoid any vandalism to it.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood. That other one has been down there for years.
Yeah.
There has been some vandalism. I think it may have been
potential fire or something that may have been set on it. Luckily, it was pressure treated.
But this is going to be aluminum, right? It's not going to be wood.
That's a good question. I'm not sure what the top.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, maybe a follow up down the line. Thank you. Council, would you like me?
Yes.
Proceed.
So,
Yep, Councilman Wilson.
Riverside Middle School, the field behind the Riverside Middle School. So I saw the lights were put in, and the field's flooded. Have we talked to this contractor to see what's going on with that?
So I have. I'm meeting them on Thursday.
Okay.
The electrician was there today. He was wiring up the lights. So that's moving forward.
Okay.
We do realize there are some, they just finished doing the fine grading. They knew all along there'd be low spots and stuff. They'd have to come back, field dress those. We are also looking at something along the school side where the lights are. There does seem to be some significant amount of ponding there.
That's exactly what, yeah.
So there are some solutions to that. We're talking maybe some French drains with some area drains, get the water out of there and into the subsurface.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of room also behind the goalpost, by the sidewalk that goes to Meadowbrook, is it? What's the name of
The school?
No, the road,
Oh, Meadowcrest?
Meadowcrest, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There's some room there also. We might be able to do some kind of like a small retention basin there, but I like to keep it all subsurface so that you don't have anybody walking around and walking through. I guess. Thursday afternoon, I'll be meeting with the owners.
And the field where the school site is fencing going there, or is something?
So there is talk about that. We are concerned with vandalism, bikers and stuff going across that. We did get a quote to put up a 4-foot fence.